9 p.m. on the East Coast of America and live from the WACA studios, this is Good Night. We're starting tonight with music news. The music news of the past couple weeks has been centered around Kanye West and his newest promise to drop an album. Kanye back in August teased that he was working on a new gospel-inspired project titled Jesus is King in a Twitter post. This follows up on his weekly Sunday service performances in which he'd bring a gospel choir across the country and play his and other people's songs in hymnal style. However, when the September release date rolled around, there was no album. Instead, a film only in Detroit and New York that contained music from the Mystery Project. Fans have been desperately trying to make sense of the release schedule, but nothing is certain when you're dealing with a guy like Kanye West. For reference, he promised another album around this time last year, a compilation album 2 summers ago, and scrapped a follow-up to his 2016 record, The Life of Pablo, after promising its release. Of late, Kanye has almost scrapped as many records as he has dropped, but fans are still on the edge of their seat at the chance of a new album. One of these people is our producer, Connor. Here's a picture of him from last September, refreshing Twitter, waiting for the album. Poor guy. He'll never learn. At this rate, we'd be better off getting a new Outkast album than Kanye delivering on a release date. And speaking of religious-themed things, in ridiculous news, Brooklyn-based creative shoe company Mischief has decided to take a stand against ridiculous collaborations after seeing Adidas team up with Arizona Iced Tea, so they created the Jesus shoe. It's an outfitted Nike Air Max sneaker with a crucifix on the lacing and a Bible verse printed on the toes, and holy water straight from the River of Jordan injected into the soles. The shoe sold for $3,000 and only about 12 were made. They all sold out. Now, I'm not really a religious guy, but these kicks are pretty fly. However, the company says they have no plans to make any more, despite the virality of the shoes. The question, how practical the shoe is going to be for athletic competition, though. Sure, you have the blessing of the Lord, but with athletes from track and basketball trying to limit the total amount of weight on their bodies, I think a couple ounces of holy water is going to slow a runner down during a sprint. But hey, you never know. Miracles can happen. In other music news, if you've been living under a rock for the last couple of years, you might not be familiar with the now infamous child song, Baby Shark. But for the rest of us, this children's song has become a staple for the new age nursery rhymes, and the YouTube music video for it's been amassed over, wait a minute, this can't be right, 3.6 billion views? So you're telling me that if you give one view to one person, almost half the planet has seen this video? Well, I guess that explains why South Korean kids education, Pinkfong, has decided to take it on tour. Baby Shark Live is coming to a city near you, and along with the titular song, they're dressing up in shark outfits, using puppets, and singing some other classic Pinkfong nursery rhymes like the Monkey Banana Dance and the Wheels on the Bus. So if you're a parent of a younger child, expect this to be on your radar about as much as Baby Shark was in your head. Good luck and Godspeed. Now in sports news, the Celtics began the preseason last week, and everybody was wondering if they'd bounce back from last year's disappointing season. It seems like they have, with a perfect record and blowout wins in 2 of their 3 games so far. But the real story that nobody can resist is Taco Fall. Fall is a player who was recently picked up over the summer and has become a fan favorite at TD Garden for his play, his athletic ability, and easily memeable name. Oh yeah, he's also 7'6". That's a big part of it. We've got a minute in the last couple games and wowed the crowd with some hilarious blocks and dunks. Dunks that he does not even need to leave the ground to perform. The rest of the rookie Celtic squad looked equally as impressive, but no offense could seem to have an answer for the big man, who was somewhere in the top 6 tallest NBA players in history. We made a graph to show you how tall Taco is. Connor, can you get it up there? So here That taco is more than a foot taller than the tallest bird, the emu. In fact, he's closer to the height of a fully grown Asian elephant as he is to our 6'2" producer Connor. But in addition to being a crazy addition on the court, he's reportedly also a really great guy. He'll be playing in the G League for most of the season working on his fundamentals, but when he arrives back in the NBA, it'll be a treat to watch. Now some words about Todd Carter. Todd was a producer on our program here at Good Night. He recently took on a position in a new career. We're all going to miss him a lot. Connor probably more than anybody because Connor's devastated. But we wish Connor all the best luck in the world with his new position. But we certainly do miss his shiny bald head here on Good Night. That's going to do it for the news this week. Stay tuned for Lucy Burdge This Week in Music History and for some bits from our crew celebrating a monumental human achievement in marathon running. And don't go anywhere because when we have come back on trending on Twitter to discuss what last week's biggest hashtags were. So keep it locked right here on Good Night.
This is Lucy Burdge with Good Nights This Week in Music History. We begin in 1964 when the Beatles recorded 8 days a week at Abbey Road Studios in London. In 1973, Elvis Presley and Priscilla divorced after 6 years of marriage. In 1988, Pink Floyd's The Dark Side of the Moon finally left Billboard's Hot 200 album chart after a record-breaking 741 weeks. In 1989, Paula Abdul went to #1 on the US album chart with Forever Your Girl. In 1991, Michael Jackson gave away Elizabeth Taylor at her 7th wedding, which was held at Jackson's Neverland Ranch. In 1995, Alanis Morissette went to #1 on the US album chart with her 3rd album, Jagged Little Pill, which was the first full album I ever heard growing up. In 1995, Tupac was released from Clinton Correctional Prison on $1.4 million bail, which was posted by Suge Knight, obviously. In 2000, Busta Rhymes was sentenced to 5 years probation after pleading guilty to a gun possession charge. And in 2005, Boy George was arrested in New York after police found traces of drugs in his apartment. And finally, in 2014, Taylor Swift was named Billboard's Woman of the Year for 2014, making her the first artist to receive the award twice. This has been Lucy Burdge with Good Nights This Week in Music History. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Lucille Burdge for both.
So, on Saturday, a pretty amazing thing happened. For a long time, people have been trying to break 2 hours on a marathon. And finally, on Saturday in Vienna, Kenyan runner Eliud Kipchoge finally managed to do it. He did it in 1:59:40, 1 hour, 59 minutes, 40 seconds, which means that equates to a 4:33 mile pace. He ran a 4:33 mile for 26.2 miles. And to understand how fast that is, that's about 13-ish miles an hour. So that means that he had to run around this track 105 times, and each time he had to do it in about 1 minute and 8 seconds. That's about 13 miles an hour. And the YouTuber Mike Boyd did an amazing video on this where he details all of the statistics and the history of the world record and everything, and you should totally go check it out. And he does a visual representation where he runs on a treadmill at about 13 miles an hour. But I wanted to give kind of a different representation and try to run around this track in 1 minute and 8 seconds, and then basically you have to do that more than 100 times to do what Eliud Kipchoge just did on Saturday. I am not exactly in the proper clothes to do this right now. I'm in Converses, long pants, yada yada yada, but I do run from time to time, so let's give it a shot. So that was pretty much a minute and 8 seconds. That's what it said on my phone. I'll check it in the edit. But it's probably a minute and 8 seconds. I thought that I would have to hold back to get the pace right, but no, that's basically a full sprint for most people 105 times. So again, check out Mike Boyd's video. He did a great job. Let's all remember and celebrate his amazing accomplishment, and shout out to Eliud Kipchoge. Jesus Christ.
All right, welcome back to Good Night with our Trending on Twitter segment. Going to introduce Tom, or as we call him, Tom Cruise Stud Muffin, right over here. How you doing, Tom?
Good. Glad to be back on the show.
Hey, it's good to always have you back. And Jack Skeleton himself. All right. How you guys doing tonight?
Pretty good. Yeah.
All right, Connor, let's punch up our first topic that's trending on Twitter for this past week. Take your time. There you go. Delete Facebook. All right, guys. Either one of you guys a Facebook guy?
Not
No.
anymore.
Not anymore. How come?
No. You know, I started off using it, I think, like back in middle school, and just looking back on it, like all the cringy stuff I used to post, I just wanted to get away from that chapter of my life. So, yeah, I don't really use it anymore.
Yeah, me neither. Only thing I really used Facebook for in recent was my college class had like a closed group where you could, whatever, student government stuff and
Yeah.
student class-specific announcements, kind of. But other than that, yeah, I'm not much of a
And you
user.
guys don't use Facebook Messenger or anything like that?
No.
No, not really.
So what have you guys, since you've given up Facebook, what do you switch to?
I'm mostly an Instagram guy nowadays, but that's really just posting pictures of my dog.
And who owns Instagram?
Facebook?
It is Facebook, though, right?
I think so, yeah.
Is it Facebook?
So I think, so they've got their cake and eating it too a little bit. But, some people say only old people like me use Facebook anymore. But even ever since, they targeted people during the last election and everything, I used to use Facebook a lot. It was a good way to keep up with friends from high school and college and
Yeah.
show, brag to my parents, show them pictures of their grandkids and stuff like that. But ever since, the privacy issues and there is no more privacy anymore. But I've kind of soured even myself on Facebook. I'm deeply disappointed in the way they've handled a lot of things, and restricting free speech. That's a big concern of mine on any social media platform. But it seems like Facebook did more of that than anybody. I mean, you guys worry about that? Or you guys don't worry about that as of yet?
For me, Facebook is mostly out of sight, out of mind
Okay.
right now, but I do think it's definitely messed up, what they've been doing with their advertising policies.
It'll be interesting to see, in 10 years, you guys think Facebook will be around?
Maybe just because of how big it is. I doubt anyone will be using it anymore, but would it still exist? Yeah, probably.
It might still exist. You still see an AOL account there and everything.
Yeah,
once in a while
exactly.
out there as well.
Yeah.
All right, Connor, back in the studio. Let's punch up our next trending item on Twitter. Oh, here we go. 2 college kids will know this one. Bad hangover remedies. What do you guys think?
I'm not much of a drinker myself, so I'm not exactly an expert on hangover remedies.
Hey, I'm only 19, so...
We won't tell them.
I'm
Nobody's watching. Nobody will see.
I mean, okay. Nobody's watching, so I guess you could say. I've never honestly been hungover from the times I've never drank.
There you go.
Mom, if you're
go with
watching.
Yeah. I think the best hangover remedy is don't get drunk, but
Yeah, absolutely.
the number one thing that they said back from my college days of drinking was just keep drinking.
Yeah,
Wake
that's,
up the next morning and just start drinking again and just slowly wean yourself off.
yeah, it's definitely a bad hangover remedy.
Coffee, some people say tomato juice, eating greasy food. Those are all big things. But all right, so
Yeah.
we'll just stick with you don't drink, all right? We'll just stick
Yeah,
with that for one
exactly.
more day. All right, Connor, what's our next one? Back in the studio, the Joker movie. All right. Something pretty popular and controversial. Did either one of you guys see it yet?
I've seen it.
I have not seen it yet.
What'd you think?
I think it's kind of a conversation starter.
Is it
That's what I think.
a good one?
It's a very memeable movie.
Is there any Batman in it?
No Batman.
No Batman at all.
There's
No.
a little Bruce Wayne. They've
Okay.
decided to make the Joker probably 10, 20 years on Bruce Wayne. It's interesting.
Okay.
Interesting. So
My words, I think the media wanted something to go wrong. It's almost like they were encouraging something to go wrong. Did you see any crazy activity in the theater when you went and saw it?
I didn't see any. It was a packed theater.
Well, it was packed.
Yeah.
The movie of the year, everybody's saying it's kind of the movie of the year. You think it is?
I don't see many movies, but I didn't think it was anything spectacular. It was a good movie. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it was.
Not as
Terrific.
violent as everybody said it was going to be?
No, I don't think so.
You going to see it, Tom?
Yeah, I'll probably see it eventually.
Yeah. I think I'll wait to see it too as well. But
Yeah.
did the theater do anything extra security-wise? Did you see more police presence there or anything like that?
No, not that I saw.
So the hype didn't meet the reality, I don't think, huh?
No.
No. You think there'll be a Joker too?
No, I don't think so.
No.
It's just kind of lore friendly. I mean, I'm not super into comics, but from what I understand, it kind of fits in the story of Batman, and it's kind of a.
Do you have to be a comic book fan to see it, to enjoy it?
I don't think so. I'm not much of a comic book guy, and I still
You
liked
still
it.
enjoyed it?
Yeah.
Okay. You a comic book guy?
Not really, no. I'm more of a Marvel comic book kind of
Marvel
guy.
guy?
Yeah.
So not a DC guy?
Not as
Yeah.
much DC, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Marvel does coming now with the end of the Avengers. Spider-Man's
Yeah,
coming back.
all the
but,
Spider-Man stuff.
But Guardians of the Galaxy should be interesting what they do with that with Thor now. It's going to be interesting. But DC just can't seem to get any traction lately, other than the Batman movies. But I know there's a
Yeah.
new Superman movie coming out. But it'll be interesting to see. All right, Connor, what else do we got back there? Spooky season. All right. Yep, it's October, the month of Halloween.
Yep.
You guys in the mood for the spooky season?
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
You big into trick-or-treating, Halloween?
well, not so much as I used to be, but yeah, for sure. I know they got the pumpkins out in near Town Hall. I don't know if you've been driving in downtown.
I haven't seen them, no. I'm not a big Halloween guy. How about you?
I mean, I kind of have to be. You have no idea how many Halloween-themed nicknames I have. Slender Man,
Jack Skellington.
Jack Skellington,
Yeah.
as I was introduced as.
Yeah.
It just goes on. Of every year, I get somebody say, "You should go trick or treating. You should be Slender Man." All I have to do is throw a suit on. I mean,
There
it's
you
that
go.
simple.
Yeah.
There you go. It's still good to get candy, I guess, a little bit.
Just about at least once a week, my best friend calls me Jack Skellington for no reason because I'm built like Jack Skellington, tall, skinny.
Yeah.
Got that going for me.
Were you guys ever into the pranks or anything with Halloween?
Not really, no.
No,
You ever go to like Spooky World or anything like that?
not really.
No, you never got into it?
No.
What about the Halloween movies? You guys a big fan of the Halloween movies?
I'll watch the classics like
The
Beetlejuice
classics,
and
What about
Yeah,
Chucky movies and
Beetlejuice.
stuff? You know, like there's always, bad Halloween movies this time of year.
Friday the 13th,
Friday
like
the
the
13th,
Jason,
yeah.
whatever.
Did you ever guys get into any of those?
I mean, I'm not really much of a horror movie kind of a person.
I really like the parody ones, like Scary Movie, where
Yes.
they always
Those were good,
yeah, they
Yeah,
make
those
fun
are
of
good.
all
They
the
spoof
stereotypes
'em,
with.
They spoof them.
Yeah.
So any closing thoughts on Halloween or spooky season as we call it?
I'm just gonna kick back on the couch and kick open a bag of candy, and
Yeah.
it's the 31st. I mean,
All right, speaking of that, your favorite Halloween candy?
ooh, that's a tough one. I'd either have to go with Reese's peanut butter cups or Mounds.
Mounds.
Mounds, yeah.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that to come. Okay.
I think it's a good mix.
Mounds is pretty good, but I wasn't,
Yeah.
that's not probably the top 5 most popular. How about you?
For me, it's got to be Starburst.
Starburst,
Yeah.
okay.
I love Starburst.
Okay. Huh. I'm probably either a Reese's or a Snickers guy. But. Now, when you guys go trick-or-treating, did anybody get the big bars, or is it always the small little ones?
I think it really depends on the neighborhood.
You
Yeah.
do? Yeah.
I think they tend to keep it to the smaller ones nowadays.
I don't like the smaller ones, though.
Yeah.
You end up eating more, I think, or at least I do. Only speaking from experience. All right, that's going to wrap up this week. So what's trending on Twitter? We'll be right back, right here on Good Night. Thanks for joining us here on Good Night. We want to thank Tom and Cameron for our Trending on Twitter panel, as well as Lucy Burdge for her This Week in Music History segment. We'll be back next Monday at 9 p.m. for another edition of Good Night. Thank you and take care, everybody. We'll see you next Monday night. Thanks. Bye-bye.